respectful. I thought that might not be quite as nice as it was. That's very good, very good. Okay, so you can make some noise now because it's your champion, the Leeds favourite. I'm sure a lot of you were there at Elland Road when he produced that tremendous performance to become the IBF champion of the world. His dad, Sean O'Hagan, his trainer, and the champion, Josh Warrington. Well, as I say, it's really going to be a really special fight, and the fact that a lot of people have come along here today illustrates just how much people want to hear about it, hear the guys talking about it, and it's all going to build towards that date, December 22nd. We're all going to be heading off to Belfast tomorrow, so we've got I'm sure, a very pro-Josh crowd here today, and we're going to have a very pro-Carl crowd tomorrow in Belfast as well. It's going to be one of those occasions where there's going to be partisan support for both sides when we get into that arena, and I think it's going to be a fantastic night. Let's hear from Josh first of all. Great to see people turning out to give you the welcome, Josh, and looking forward to a fantastic night in Manchester, I'm sure.
Yeah, first of all, I'd just like to thank everyone who was turned out today. You know, whether it's your dinner, lunch or whatever, and you've come down here to see the build-up to the fight, I appreciate it. Also, a massive thank you to those who I haven't seen who turned up on May 19th. You know, part of that special night, we created a bit of history together, so thank you for them. Listen, we go again. It seems like the time has flown by since the last fight. I'm very excited to be coming up against Carl. You know, as we spoke earlier in the week, there were possibilities, or there could have been easier fights out there for me, but I want to prove that I'm the very best in the division. What dreams and aspirations are going on and unifying the division. Carl's a great fighter, and there's a lot of mutual respect there. And one thing I will say about the Leeds folk is that, you know, they get behind their own, but they also respect, you know, quality fighters. And I think with, you know, there's hardly any booing out for Carl there, whereas the war for Lee, you know, they respect a character. December 22nd is going to be a hell of a night. You've got two of the best sets of fans in not just in British boxing but in the world. You know, when I've been up at Belfast, they've always been noisy, and you know, I'm a Leeds lad. I know what Leeds are like. We're passionate. We get behind our own, and we don't stop making noise. So it's going to be deafening in there, and not only that, in the ring, you're going to have, like, in my opinion, the fight of the year. You know, I'm going to give absolutely everything, and I believe that title is going nowhere. I'll end 2018 still world champion, and Carl's already in it that he wants to be world champion again. So, you know, you've got two fighters here just having it out to see who's the best. And listen, I'm buzzing for it. I can't wait for it. Very confident, and I hope to see you all there.
Your opportunity to regain a world title, this is what you're focused on. Manchester, what's it mean for you and the chance to be a champion again?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for the great turnout. Leeds fans get a bit of a bad reputation. I was expecting a few boos, but that was pretty nice, so thank you very much. It's going to be a big night. This is, I don't know why, I lost a fight to Leo Santa Cruz in 2017, was it? Yeah, start of 2017. And I've kind of been written off, and people are saying I'm on the slide, I'm on my way out. But I genuinely believe now that these are my prime years. I think since teaming up with Jamie and Frank and MTK, I'm enjoying myself more. I feel like I have a different approach to training. I feel like the last couple of performances in particular have been pretty good, and I think that I am in my prime years. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I think it's it's always special when there's an all-British fight for a world title. And again, just kind of reaffirming what Josh said, I believe that we're two of the most well-supported boxers in world boxing, not British boxing, world boxing. I think it's going to be a passionate atmosphere, maybe a little bit hostile on the night, but I think the fight will live up to expectations. I think it's going to be a great fight, quality fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
How different is that going to be, guys? Because I mean, in Belfast, a lot of the people here won't have been across to see you fight over there. It's an incredibly knowledgeable fight crowd in Belfast, but they're passionate, and you're used to having that behind you. You're, of course, used to having these guys and the fantastic support that you get here in Leeds, but it's going to be a little bit different this time, isn't it? Because it's going to be pretty much 50-50 support, I would imagine. So, you know, it's going to be a different sort of atmosphere, maybe, to that which you're used to.
Yeah, most definitely. But like I said, over the last couple of days, throughout my career, I travelled on the road. I won my English title and Commonwealth title in my opponent's backyard. Don't mind travelling. As many Leeds fans know, we don't mind going into people's backyards. In fact, we love it, and going into backyards and causing upset, especially with the football and the rugby. You know, we're known as dirty Leeds, and we're hated all over the country, but we thrive off that really. And you know, for me, walking out and getting booed and whatever, you know, I'll be buzzing off that. I don't know why, I'm not a weirdo, but it's just something that's instilled in Leeds people, I guess. You know, the more you call us wankers and stuff, we thrive off that stuff. So, listen, I'm looking forward to it. You know, like I'm going to have, you know, many there. So when I'm landing shots, the crowd will be roaring, and vice versa. You know, Carl's going forward, there'll be roars from crowd. So it's going to be special, and something what's probably not seen in boxing for a very long time. You don't really get two like massive fan bases going together like this, so it's going to be something special on the night. I think when Carl boxed Scott Quigg in Manchester, I think his fans took over the Manchester Arena, but like I think it's going to be pretty even with this in terms of support. And I've always said that having the crowd behind me, it's been very special. It's like the 12th man. You know, when you're there in the ring and you're hearing the chants and the screams from the crowd. You know, even if it's something that you don't make sense. You know, I get people saying just chin him, Josh, and stuff like that. Listen, I'm in there trying to chin him, but you know, I still thrive off that, and it's good to have. And yes, I'll feed off the energy of those who make the noise on the night.
How will you enjoy that atmosphere? And you know, they've applauded you nicely today, but I think there might be a bit of hostility come the 22nd.
Of course, I'm not daft. I know what it's going to be like on the night, but I think it's just going to be noisy, and that's what it's going to sound. It's going to sound like noise, and anytime someone has a wee bit of success in the fight, I think there's going to be more noise, and the crowd will be on their back trying to push them over the line. But it's just going to be noise. I'll be focused on the fight. I'll use it to my advantage, but I can deal. You know, it's another thing, another criticism that people have kind of heaped on me, that I'm someone that always fights at home. Probably half my fights have been away from home, and I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to travel. My fans are happy to travel as well. As you've seen in Las Vegas, we brought 5,000 people with me. So I'll use it. I think I'll use it to my advantage, the atmosphere.
Let's talk a little bit about how you got here. Let's start with you, Josh, and your dad, Sean. You know, have you got used to, the pair of you now, actually walking into somewhere like this and being introduced as the world champion and having that belt in front of you? You know, it's got a nice sound to it, doesn't it? Champion of the world. It's got a lovely sound to it, but you know, like I've said many times, I'm not satisfied. I don't sit at home, you know, what piping slippers thinking, you know, I'm world champion. Let's go put a kettle on. I'm world champion. I don't. You know, it's just a title that I'm given, and I still believe that I can strive for more. You know, in what are you doing on the table? I just think I'm going under there. Excuse me.
I'd just like to apologise for my son's foul language. Well, it was just his upbringing, I blame his mum.
I just going back to it. I felt like for a lot of my career, you know, we've been on a journey together, me and the fans, you know, since about 2014, and I've had the support behind me. I mean, it's been going on since the start of my career. I've had people who've sacrificed everything to be at my fights in the smaller leisure centres. When I'm talking times when you're going on after the main event, when the guys are sweeping up and you're still there to box, and I've had folk who still come to them fights, and we've kind of been on a journey together, and I were very proud to have become Leeds' first world champion. It meant so much to me because that was my ultimate goal. First of all, was to win the British title and then create history for the city and put Leeds on the map in terms of boxing. I do, you know, there's a documentary coming out about the journey in the next few months, and it's fighting for the city, and that's what I feel like I've been doing. I've been fighting for the people, and you know, we're over there in Vegas when Carl boxed Santa Cruz for a second time, and from that moment I thought, you know, that's where I want to be. I want to be in the big shows in Vegas. I want to be taking my fans and my supporters over there and just creating memories and history together. And you know, this is just another stepping stone in that and in that journey.
Sean, do you still have to pinch yourself and think, yeah, you know, we got it right, we got the tactics right, we beat Lee Selby, that fantastic night at Elland Road, and it really is real, it's reality?
To be perfectly honest, no, I always knew we had beaten Lee Selby, John, to be honest. I think media built him up to be something that he really want, you know. I mean, we're really not excuses now, and drained up weight and all the rest of it, but, you know, I spoke to them, I said, are we getting the very best Lee Selby? They said, absolutely, there's no problem with weight, no problem with anything, no issues. So, no, to be fair, I think this is a different ball game. This will be an harder fight. I'm going to have to apply myself a little bit more for this one. But again, a fight that I'm looking forward to, really looking forward to this. As you say out in boxing, I think you want to prove that you're best that there is, and you want to be fighting the very best fighters, you know. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Just put into words, just while we're talking about it. I mean, you're the dad. When he gets the verdict, when he gets the verdict and he gets the belt, put into words what it meant to you that night.
I'll tell you.
When Cal gets it,
yeah.
Oh, when he gets it.
When Josh gets the title.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what he said. He came over to me and said, it's about time I get my fucking bonus. Sorry, no, well done, son. I'm proud of you, son. When I'm getting my bonus, that's what he said.
John. I didn't swear. What I said was, he fell to the floor like the doors, and I said, yes. And I've gone, there's no good time to discuss my bonus. And he blanked me, jumped on Nicky's shoulders and get me out waving. So I went out for a fag, come back in, and we still haven't discussed my bonus. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at. So I'll be having a tenner on Cal.
Carl, let's talk a little bit about your journey to being here, because you've had these fantastic nights. You're a year or two older than Josh. You've been a world champion and had those two mega fights against Santa Cruz. But you were, I think, you know, you've said repeatedly, you were in a dark place. You fell out of love with boxing.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, look, the last kind of, if you look back at interviews I was doing probably 6 years ago, I was counting down the days of retirement, and it felt like a slog. Like I should be happy that I'm doing something that I love, boxing, and it didn't feel like that. I used to wake up in the morning, you know, another day at the gym, didn't want to go, but I'd done it because it was my job. It's different now, you know. I've been with Jamie over a year now, and I get up in the morning, have a bit of breakfast, and I look forward to going to the gym. And I was beating top guys when I wasn't happy, which kind of says a lot. You know, I want to blow my own trumpet, but that was a big deal to be in the place that I was and to have these performances and beat good fighters. And that's why I think that now, you know, the old saying, happy fighter's a dangerous fighter. I agree with that. I believe I'm happy. I'm in the prime of my life. And it'll probably take that to beat Josh. This is going to be a tough fight. I expect it to be a tough fight, and I need to be right, not just physically but mentally.
What's the biggest thing that Jamie's brought into your regime, into what you're doing, which you didn't have before? Because it's got to be more than just fun. I mean, Jamie's a good lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, how's he really rekindled that enthusiasm?
Well, the type of training we do is different. So I felt like beforehand I was training a lot, and you know, there was times where, for the Scott Quigg fight, I'd done 220 rounds of sparring, which is an insane amount of rounds, and it was against big men a lot of the time, and it's good to spar, but you know, when you're getting punched around by light welterweights and stuff, and welterweights sometimes, there's only so much your body can take, and I felt like I was getting little niggles all the time. Now we've cut the sparring in half. Some of the sessions we do, you know, they're just working on tactics, so you'd hardly be sweating. It would just feel like a brain training session almost. And these are things I've never done in the past, so I think I'm listening to my body more. Jamie understands that. He's a former professional fighter who had his own problems and had his own issues and injuries, knows what it's like to feel like you're overtrained, and we've adopted. And I just think that the whole approach now, it's a much smarter approach.
Jamie, I know that we've talked about it before, but just articulate again what it's like working with this fella, and what, in your opinion, makes him a special fighter.
Well, I think some things you can't really put your finger on. You watch someone doing a certain thing, you can't teach some things, and Carl does a lot of things which come natural to him. You know, his anticipation of shots, his footwork, the way he delivers his shots. There's a difference between a world-class fighter and an elite level fighter, and I believe that Carl's at elite level. It makes my job easier. I'll be honest with you. You know, we've got a gym full of very, very good fighters, and I think that in itself is allowing Carl to sort of pick up little things. So I wouldn't necessarily want to teach Carl anything, or change him, I should say, in a big way, because he was already a phenomenal fighter when he came to me. But the big thing for me was using his best attributes, and he's a very intelligent fighter. So it's more about decision making and setting tactics. So this fight's will come down to tactics in one sense, but I think Josh's, I followed Josh's career from the beginning of it. Steve Wood is his manager. Steve Wood managed me all the way through my career. So I've known Josh for a long time. I know how good he is, and I know that nobody's going to beat Josh Warrington without it being a very, very tough fight, because that's the style of his fight. That's the style he brings. So we're under no illusions. It's going to be a difficult night, but I just feel like I've got a very, very, very talented fighting Carl.
Is it fair to say that Josh is underrated actually as a boxer? Because people talk a lot about his fitness and a lot about his engine and the fact he's going to fight 12 rounds, etc., etc. But he's a lot better boxer than sometimes he gets credit for.
He is. He's definitely a better boxer. He's got a better boxing brain than he's given credit for. But I don't think you can blame people to a certain extent until maybe him coming in and being a fighter of Lee Selby's standard, because he hadn't been given the opportunity to prove how intelligent a fighter is. A good pressure fighter doesn't mean that you just come forward with your hands around your head and let shots go, because that's one of the basic things you can do. A good intelligent pressure fighter, it has to have the same sort of boxing brain as a good back foot boxer. You just have to make sure you put those decisions in the right time. And listen, Josh is he's got a great work rate. He's physically such a strong guy, even though maybe his record doesn't suggest he's a puncher. I don't believe that to be true. I think that maybe his work rate will give anybody problems. So I believe Carl's the bigger puncher in the fight, but I think that style-wise it can't be anything but an entertaining fight for the fans.
Now, you both analysed each other. I mean, when we've commentated on BT Sport, you've commentated on his fights, you've commentated on his fights, so you've had a chance to really study each other up close. Josh, have you spotted, I don't expect you to give us details, but have you spotted weaknesses that you think you can exploit?
Yeah, I think it's probably what Carl suggested, but they're in a perfect fight out there, and I think I've watched Carl's career for a long time, being a bit of a boxing fan. And when he moved up to featherweight, you start looking in a different light, and you start kind of studying the fights rather than just watching them as entertainment. And I think that's something else what's part of our game. Where in our team we're very close knit, and we break down. I don't even see from my team where they really do study the fights and talk amongst each other and come up with game plans. And me as myself watching Carl, I think I've seen quite a few things where I think I can exploit, and things that I'll use on the night to beat him, and that's all it is. You know, we always come up with like 3 or 4 game plans. I think I'm adaptable when the opponent's being put in front of me, and I make sure that the hard work's done in the gym to prepare for whatever scenario comes at me.
I'm going to throw a little grenade into it here because I was listening to Coogan's interview.
Belfast, by the way.
You have to smile at John.
Fair play. I'm going to put a naughty question into it now. Anyway, that the interview you did with Coogan yesterday, which I presume you've not heard, he described you at one stage as being a little bit of a shadow of the man you once were.
I haven't heard it, but it's wrong. I believe, and that's the impression I think a lot of people have of me at the minute. You look at what happened. Lost a fight against Leo Santa Cruz, an under par performance. Wasn't a great fight, but it was tight enough. Right man got his hand raised. He definitely won the fight. Came back, had all the crap that was going on outside the ring. Then had a fight against Horatio Garcia. The first fight with Jamie. It was a very short training camp. I'd just come back on a mad holiday from Las Vegas. I'd done 6 weeks or 6.5 weeks with Jamie, and fought a guy who was the biggest featherweight I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't believe it, the size of him on the scales. And I know the guy because I'd done a bit of sparring with him, but it was a different man showed up on the night. Got pushed pretty hard, but won the fight. And then the last 2, we've had proper training camps and proper preparation. I think I performed almost as good as I've ever performed. So I think if you want to think that I'm a shadow of my former self, it's completely wrong. But I'll be ready. I'll be ready, and I'll be able to put in the performance of my life to win this fight.
Are you going to have to produce the performance of your life to win this fight?
Quite possibly. I'm expecting a very tough fight. I know what Josh is like, and whatever happens, this fight may just come down to, you know, toughen it out and, you know, hearten it out. Who has the biggest heart? I think with both big hearts, there's not an ounce of quit in us, and I think that's why it becomes a very good fight for the fans and for the neutral especially. But it may take the performance of my career, but I'm ready to deliver that.
I asked Josh if he'd seen weaknesses in you. Likewise, when you've watched Josh, have you sort of seen weaknesses and think, yeah, that's something I could exploit?
Well, I said it yesterday, there's no such thing as the perfect fighter, and Floyd Mayweather will probably disagree with you, but there is no such thing as the perfect fighter. And yeah, of course, there's weaknesses, but it's about me being able to use my strengths to exploit them weaknesses and show them for what they are. I believe that I can do that. But again, it's all what happens on the night. You know, you can go in, you can have all these game plans, and you can go in and training camp can be perfect, but things have to go right on the night. And I believe I'm an intelligent fighter. I will have game plans, but I like to suss a man out when I'm fighting them. Me and Josh have never sparred each other, so I like to suss people out. I like to get a feel of them in the fight, and I believe that in my own head I can work out game plans as the fight goes on.
A lot of respect, you know. You can hear the way the two guys talk about each other. You know, a lot of the time I'd sit up here trying to rev him up, and the idea is get him to bite. But you know, there is a lot of respect, quite clearly. As fight time gets closer, within you, do you have to develop a tiny bit of hatred for the guy you're going in for?
Not at all. I believe that it's a sport, it's a game. You know, I've fought some of my best friends before as an amateur. You know, I fought Paddy Barnes. I was a groomsman at his wedding, and he was the best man at mine. I got demoted to a groomsman at his for some reason. But you know, it's a fight, and we'll go in and we'll give everything it takes. I don't have to hate Josh. I've only ever hated one man I fought, and that was Chris Avalos. All the other opponents, I've respected them, never hated them, and it's the same with Josh. I don't hate him. I like him. He's a nice guy. We're down there having a bit of a joke and a bit of a crack 10 minutes before we come out here. So, but it's a fight, and he will do whatever whatever he thinks he can to win the fight, and I'll do the exact same, and then we'll shake hands after the fight and go our separate ways. But no, we don't have to have any sort of hatred. But I'm sure there'll be a few things said in the lead up that will annoy each other and irk each other a little bit, but that's boxing, that's what happens.
Listen, before I speak, John, I'll echo on that. I'll echo on that, you know. Listen, backstage, we won't have any cuddle. You know, we're having a bit of banter between each other, but listen, we both realise when December 22nd comes round, that first bell goes, respect goes out window, and we're going to punch each other's head in, and that's just how it is. You know, I'm a world champion and I want to prove myself against the best. You know, I worked hard to get there, and I want to fight the best fighters like Carl, and like I say, I believe I beat him. But the animosity, you know, I don't think he needs it. You know, we've got great fans behind us, and it's just two fighters going at it to see who's best, and the fight itself will be enough. If I turned around and started acting like a bellend, then it would be out my character, it would be out my nature. I did against I did against Lee Selby because there was genuine hatred there, there was genuine feeling there. You know, it'd gone on for a long time, it had gone beyond sportsmanship, it'd become personal, not just between me and Lee, but our teams as well. And things did get a bit sour and nasty, but it was one of the things, and we had 12 rounds to sort it out. In this one, I was going as far as to say I've enjoyed watching Carl and being a fan of him in the past, but now it's about keeping hold of that belt, and not only that, you know, I'm in a position now to really go on, set a legacy, not just for my city and for my friends, but for my family, you know. And I've always said about building an empire, and I can use my career of boxing to do that, and this is just how it is, and you just got to fight the best to go on with your career. And it's sorry, John, one sec, I'm on a roll here.
They'd rather hear you.
and you know, it's music to my ears. Like I said yesterday, that Carl's bringing his best, because you know, all in the build-up with Lee Selby's too big, Lee Selby's too skillful. He could write my boxing ability on the back of a postage stamp, and yet when the time came to it, you know, Lee Selby was weight trained, he's too big, and no one were ever saying that when he were winning them fights, and you know, he were coming out victorious. So I'm happy to hear that Carl's bringing his best, and in a little bit of a weird way, I've always, especially growing up, I've always pictured myself being in these big fights. I thought the Selby fight might have been like that, where you walk out and you're cut and you're bruised. I mean, you were cut, but I wanted to be at a fight where I'm almost collapsing because I've used that much energy, and you know, it's been an all-out war. But it wasn't like that whatsoever. It quite an easy night to work at office without sounding too big-headed. With Carl, I do feel like you know, he's going to bring a lot. He's what he wants to be back to where he was. So yeah, I'm hoping this is like my Barrera and Morales kind of fight, and I can't wait to go. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to it.
In a lot of ways, you know, when you hear them talking, I think probably you guys would agree. You know, that you're very similar people. It strikes me, Carl. You know, you're grounded. You're very much in touch with your fans. You don't go around playing the big I am. And yet you're very, very good at what you do.
Yeah, we're too nice, everyone's leaving now. We're not giving enough grief to each other, but no, we are similar people. I think, yeah.
Listen, I watched your documentary yesterday. You've actually got the same place what we've got. I'm on it now, I said, Tash, Carl's got the same dishes that we've got. You know, can you imagine that?
But I got same as me on cups and plates and that. Don't match him. No, I think we can start slagging each other a bit if you want that, make it interesting, you know what I mean? So you can get a second episode tomorrow in Belfast, can't we, John? A little bit more.
Well, we'll give it a go.
Yeah, he'll get a load of stick because he'll wear something stupid. I told him not to wear the shoes. He's gutted, he can't sleep on a night because I slagged him and said it over at Tesco. I was out there killing myself laughing.
They reckon bookies don't often get it wrong. They certainly got it very wrong when he fought Lee at Elland Road. And I don't know if any of you are as sad as me and going on Odds Checker to have a look at what the bookies are saying. He's 5-2 against. Carl as short as 11-4 on with some of the bookies. So once again, the bookies reckon that he's heading for a big win.
Well, I've said I put him in 10 on, didn't I? Just in case, you know what I mean? You never know, you've got to watch your bets, haven't you, John? Have a few bob on them all, you know.
Do you pay any
Well,
attention
bet
to
spreading, is it? I don't understand betting and gambling anyway.
Do you pay any attention?
I only knew the odds because you told me yesterday, so it's something I don't pay attention to, and I won't in the lead up to the fight. And they'll probably shorten as well as the fight gets closer. I think that happened with Josh and Selby. They started big odds and then they came a bit closer.
Yeah.
So I think that's what will happen, but I don't pay attention. But I'm going to say they very rarely get it wrong, but they got it wrong when he fought Selby. So I know someone's going to say that's just going to get through into my face, but I believe that they've got it right this time.
I'll back against that, cause a bit of stir in pot. But listen, you know, my back's been against the wall since, you know, even before I won my first title, English title. I've never been really given credit, and I'm not searching for it whatsoever. I get enough praise from my pals and my fans who turn out in the numbers, but you know, I always get doubted, and like I say, I thrive off that. You know, it gives me a little bit of an incentive to say, right, I'm gonna prove you wrong, kind of thing. You know, massive underdog going into the last one, and it would have, you know, rewind a few years ago, people saying I'd never get to that level, and I earned my shot. I went the long way round, and they, once again, you know, as you say, I'd seen a poll go out on social media yesterday, and it was something like 83 to 17% to Carl, but you know, does that bother me? No, whatsoever. If anything, it gives me a boost, and like I say, I know what I'm capable of. You know, bookies, they're set there doing their job, but they're not inside my head. It's a two-horse race, and listen, get your Christmas bonuses on it because you'll make some nice spending money for Boxing Day sales. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to open it up to questions from the floor, and to those of you who come along here today in a moment or two. But just before, while you're thinking what you want to ask, just before, there's the belt. What would it mean to you on the 22nd, Carl, to be going home with that and to be able to say, yeah, I'm a world champion again?
It would mean the world to me, again, because of, you know, people doubt me, and you know, it's only started to happen sort of the last year and a half where people have written me off, and I think this world title would mean more to me than the rest of them put together possibly, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to have my hand raised.
And same for you, Josh. It's there in front of you. The prospect of it going home with him, I suspect, isn't one you like too much.
No, it's not happening. No, I said this year was my year, and you know, it's been a hell of a year so far. You know, I've lived the dream. You know, being able to fight Ellen Road, to win a world title. My baby girls were born this year, and you know, going into a big fight with Carl at the end of the year, I just don't see having a damper on it. This is my year. Listen, next year I might get hit by a bus, but this year is my year. Nothing's gonna go wrong. I've seen it. I've visualised it for, you know, all throughout and since winning the fight. So you know, I know that when I'm there on Christmas Day, eating my turkey, my puddings and whatnot, but I'll still have the belt on the table. So I'm looking forward to it.
Have you had another vision, Johnny?
Oh, I've had a vision.
Have you? Keeps having his visions overnight, so. I think that with bookies thing, everybody goes on about bookies. Like I say, for me, all it does is take pressure off a little bit, really. Makes it a little bit easier, nice and relaxed, nobody expects all of you, so it leaves you to crack on with it, you know.
You got any thoughts about that, Jamie? About the fact that your man's such a favourite at this stage?
I agree with the lads. They don't really make any sort of difference to the way we'll go about it. I was 20-1. You could get 20-1 for me when I won the British title. So and it was easy. I battered him. so I really don't go off the odds. The way I view this fight is, see, if you go off other people's opinions, not just the bookies, but other people's opinions, if you go off their opinions, then it's always going to sway you one way or the other. I don't really listen to sort of negative people's opinions of us, or praise for that matter, because that can give you a false sense of security. So all I concentrate on is the good attributes of my fighter, what he can do well, the stuff we need to protect him from. So the little bit of vulnerabilities, like we were saying, every fighter's got vulnerabilities, so we protect him from those, make sure he puts in, uses his best attributes, and like I said, it's going to be a terrific fight. The best thing about this fight is it can't be anything but an entertaining fight for the fans because of their styles. So the boxing fans are the winners, and whoever's going to win on the night will win. You know, may the best man win, but it's going to be a terrific fight.
And I certainly echo that. I think it's going to be a wonderful fight. It's got, you know, it's one of those which just can't fail, I think. Anyway, I said I was going to open it up to people who are here. If you've got any questions, please shout them out.
Carl, you said then that if you win this fight, it tops the lot. Why is that, given that you won the fight against Santa Cruz in Brooklyn and the world title win at home when there was 18,000 fans there?
Because I've been written off, and that's the simple answer. Yeah, people have, obviously after the Santa Cruz loss and the change of team and everything else, everyone says I'm finished. Well, a lot of people said I was finished, but I had a lot of support and a lot of people behind me, so I want to win this fight for them and the people that have my back. But I also want to, you know, stick the fingers up to the people that says I was done, and that's why it'll be so special.